I'm Tom Hoyt, the Public Relations Coordinator for Mascoma Savings Bank. We're here at our Operations Center in White River Junction, Vermont. With its most recent expansion, Mascoma is now as far north as Lancaster, New Hampshire, and we stretch to Keene, New Hampshire to our south, but we are still very much based in the Connecticut River Valley. In fact, here at our Operations Center is the mural painted by Bernard Chapman that depicts the history of Lebanon and the history of Mascoma. On there, Chief Mascoma, the head of the Squakeek Indian tribe, that picture would become the logo for Mascoma Savings Bank. We're 28 branches strong from Lancaster to Keene. Stay with us as we explore this video series that we like to call Common Ground, Common Goals, and Common Sense. Welcome to Mascoma Savings Bank, and welcome to Keene, New Hampshire. In 2013, Mascoma acquired Connecticut River Bank and expanded our footprint into Cheshire County and into Keene. Our branch location right across from the legendary Colony Mill Marketplace. In Keene, you'll find a tight-knit community. It's the home of Keene State College. It's also home of the widest paved Main Street in all of the world. And on Main Street, the legendary Colonial Theater. Back in 1995, Keene was home of Hollywood. That's right. Robin Williams' classic Jumanji was filmed in Keene, and the Paris shoe sign remains as a part of that indelible image today. It's one of our 28 branch locations. Join us as we travel up and down the Connecticut River Valley and visit some of the others. Dan & Witt's General Store in Norwich, Vermont has been a family-run organization for many, many decades. And why? Because it has literally everything that you could need and some things that you don't know that you need. It's because no matter what you're looking for, it's here at Dan & Witt's. From food staples to presents to gifts to live produce to literally everything. And your Vermont hunting license as well. Where else can you fill your car with gas, maybe get kerosene to heat your camp, clothe your family from head to toe, or buy that steak for dinner? You can also find a bottle of wine, cut flowers, even overnight film developing, and yes, that mouth guard for your child's next sporting event. Now that we've picked up everything that we could possibly need or want, it's time to head north to Lancaster, New Hampshire, and the Northern Nights Drive-In Theater. That's right, Drive-In Theater. They still exist. We'll show you where. Continuing our travels around Mascoma Savings Bank locations brings us to the Green in Lebanon, Colburn Park, and right across the street from Mascoma Savings Bank's headquarters. And right here in Colburn Park on the Green in downtown Lebanon is just one of the reasons why, at one time, Lebanon was called the City of Fountains. The city, which happens to be the smallest in all of New Hampshire, is actually home to two hospitals, Alice Peck Day Memorial and the Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center, as well as the legendary Norris Cotton Cancer Center. It's been named one of the more livable cities in all of the United States. Sports Illustrated named it Sportstown, USA. Indeed, Lebanon, New Hampshire has a lot to offer. We hope you enjoyed our look around some of the branch locations of Mascoma Savings Bank and can understand why we like to say common goals, common ground, and common sense. With 28 branch locations, we invite you to stop in and find out for yourself why we like to say at Mascoma, it's mutual, it's possible. When Mascoma Savings Bank expanded south with the acquisition of Connecticut River Bank, one of the branches we picked up was right here in the quaint village of Walpole, New Hampshire, an iconic New England Main Street. It was the summertime home of writer Louise May Alcott and is the hometown of filmmaker Ken Burns. Currently, if you think Walpole, you probably think of Allison's Orchard. Allison's has become one of the go-to locations for weddings, receptions, gatherings, and whatever in and around Cheshire County. And of course, because of their lush landscape, the ponds, the buildings and such, it is the place for fall activities in and around Cheshire County. And that's a look at just some of the iconic images in and around Walpole. Stick with us. We're going to head a little bit further north and check out some of the history in Charlestown. Another of the newer locations of Mascoma Savings Bank is right here along the main street in Charlestown, New Hampshire, and we are right across the street from the iconic town church in Charlestown. It was that bell that rang when favorite son Carlton Fisk hit the Game 6 home run in the 1975 World Series. Charlestown is also the hometown of William Corbin, the man who invented the paper towel. But it has quite a bit of history in town as well. The fort at number 4 was the northernmost British settlement along the Connecticut River in New Hampshire until after the French and Indian War. That fort maintains in operation today. We took a look around. By 1943, 10 families settled in a square of interconnected houses enclosed in a stockade fence with a guard tower that surrounded the fort at number 4. The history of the fort at number 4 in Charlestown in many ways reflects the larger growth and development of the English colonies. This area in western New Hampshire was settled by pioneers who were characterized by their determination, work ethic, and emerging industrial skills. As the English colonies grew throughout the 18th century and immigration from England continued at a rapid pace, the need for more farmland and economic opportunity drove settlers west. Stay with us as we continue our journey and showcase some of the locations of Mascoma Savings Bank. Another one of the branch locations of Mascoma Savings Bank is here in Enfield, New Hampshire, and incredibly enough, just on the other side of Lake Mascoma are perhaps the most famous residents of Enfield, and they haven't been here for almost a century. The Enfield Shaker Museum is an outdoor history museum and a historic district in Enfield. It's dedicated to preserving and sharing the history of the Shakers, a Protestant religious denomination who lived on site from 1793 to 1923. At its peak in the mid-19th century, the community was home to 3 different families of Shakers. They practiced equality of the sexes and races, celibacy, and communal ownership of property. Shakers farmed over 3,000 acres of land, educated children, and worshiped in the Shaker way. So that's just a quick look at some of the sights and sounds around Enfield. Stay with us as we go across the Connecticut River to Norwich, Vermont, and introduce you to a place whose motto is, if they don't have it, you don't need it. At the far northern reaches of Mascoma Savings Bank's branch network is Coos County and Lancaster, New Hampshire. You know, as recently as the 1950s, more than 4,000 drive-in movie theaters dotted the United States. 23 of them as recently as the 60s were right here in New Hampshire. Now, only 4 remain. One of them is just up the street from our Lancaster branch, the Northern Nights Drive-In, where Friday and Saturday nights in season, you and the family can drive in, enjoy a movie, some great snacks, and even camp out if you like. The Northern Nights Drive-In Theater in Lancaster, New Hampshire. Great spot for some family fun. And just a little bit down the road, I want to show you a place that back in the day was a mecca not only for tourism in northern New Hampshire, but also as a preview location for what was coming out of Hollywood. Stick with me, we'll take a look. As we continue our visit to some of the newer Mascoma Savings Bank locations, we're here in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, right along Route 302 that runs through the heart of town. The Maplewood Golf Course is just down the road, Bethlehem Country Club up the way a bit. Also in downtown is the Colonial Theater, constructed first in 1914. In 1915, it opened as a bit of Hollywood royalty. Cecil B. DeMille debuted Girl of the Golden West right here in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. And through the teens and 20s, it became a popular Northeast tourist destination. As many as 4 trains a day would arrive at the depot downtown. At one time, as many as 30 hotels were here in town. Sadly, most are gone or derelict today. But at the Colonial, it became a spot that Hollywood would debut motion pictures because of the diverse economic nature of the summer residents here in Bethlehem. And that's a little bit of the history of the Colonial Theater here in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. Now, on to our next location. Mascoma Savings Bank's mission involves doing what's best for the customer and the community. One of our newest communities is Littleton, New Hampshire, home of the weekly Sunday morning farmers market. Let's take a look around. As you're driving around Route 5 or 18 or 302 and by some of the legendary family farms, those bits of produce, tomatoes, cucumbers, corn, cantaloupe, zucchini, they all end up here at the Littleton Farmers Market on Sunday mornings. As a mutual savings bank, Mascoma has no owners. Our profits go back to the community. In one way, the legendary Mascoma canvas bags that we hand out at local farmers markets for the vendors to put the produce in for their customers. Well, that wraps things up today in Littleton. Let's move on to our next spot.